Good evening. My name is Catherine Cleary. I'm a rising senior at St. Mary's College in Notre Dame, Indiana, pursuing a women's studies major and Spanish and sociology minors. I've helped facilitate several alternative spring break trips focusing on women in poverty. I serve on the Student Advisory Committee for the Bells Against Violence office, and I'm the Vice President of the St. Mary's Straight and Gay Alliance. This summer, I intern with the Indiana Coalition Against Sexual Assault. Will Natalie Randolph please join me at the podium? A trailblazer in an extremely male-dominated field, out of 15,675 high school varsity football coaches, Natalie Randolph, I know, right? Natalie Randolph is currently the only one who is female. The previous number of female head coaches is unknown, but maybe as few as 2. In addition to coaching, Natalie teaches biology and environmental sciences at Coolidge High School nearby in Washington, D.C. A football fan and dedicated teacher, Natalie was chosen from 11 candidates in March of 2010 to coach the school's varsity football team. And this past fall, she completed her first season as coach. When Natalie became the head coach, then Mayor of Washington, D.C., Adrian Fenty, declared Natalie Randolph Day in her honor. Woo-hoo. A native of Washington, D.C., Natalie graduated from Sidwell Friends School, where she played sports and excelled at track and field. Natalie graduated from the University of Virginia in 2002 with a bachelor's degree in environmental science, and she earned a master's of education there in 2003. She was also a sprinter and hurdler track star at UVA, and she finished second in the 400-meter hurdles in the Atlantic Coast Conference in 2003. Clap again. Her athleticism and passion for football make her well qualified for her coaching position. Natalie had a 5-year career as a wide receiver for the DC Divas of the National Women's Football Association, and she helped them win the National Women's Football title in 2006. Every couple sentences, I think we're gonna, okay. Then she served as an assistant coach of a varsity football team at another high school. She had even wanted to play football for her high school team and had received consent from the coaches, but her father insisted that she not jeopardize her track career by playing because of the inevitable injuries she would incur. Last spring, after the previous coach resigned, Coolidge administrators asked her to apply for the job 3 times before she agreed. Her hesitation largely stemming from her belief that she didn't have enough football experience, but it was clear during the interview process that she was the best candidate for the job. Just like other women in male-dominated fields, since taking the job, Natalie has been the focus of media attention and national scrutiny. And while she's experienced a lot of support, she's also faced resistance. When future female head coaches are able to work without this fanfare and resistance, then we will know there is more equality in the field, and we'll know that Natalie's trailblazing ways played a major role. Natalie Randolph, you are an inspiration to me for breaking through barriers in the world of high school sports while not focusing on your gender, but instead focusing on being a passionate leader and role model for the boys you coach. It is with great admiration that the National Conference for College Women Student Leaders, organizers, and attendees, including myself, honor and recognize you as a 2011 Woman of Distinction.
Wow, hello, how's everybody doing? I am in awe myself being around these other fellow women of distinction. I am the youngest up here, and I am still learning like you are. But when asked to give advice, I'm still seeking advice from others in my own journey because it's very, very new. The one thing that comes to my mind is to immerse yourself in whatever you are doing without fear. Just like people say, jump in head first in the pool, that's what you have to do, because if I had thought about this any longer, if I had researched this anymore, I don't think I would be here. But I want to share a couple of stories about my journey so far. One is of a kid, well, 3 kids, 3 seniors, Reynard, Daniel, and Marcus. And all 3 of them were hesitant at first. You know, when they introduced me, the other kids were okay. I had taught the juniors now, I taught in 9th grade, so they all knew me as a teacher. But the seniors from this past season, this is their senior year. And if anybody knows sports and football, I mean, this is the year that counts. We're getting a new coach. She's a girl. What in the world? So they all came and said, you know, well, I have some apprehensions. I was like, that's cool. You know, you're honest. Be honest with me. I'm going to try my best to give you everything that you need and to put you in the place where you need to be. And other than that, we're going to jump in this together if you choose to. And now, 2 of them, Reynard and Daniel, have been accepted into Morehouse College and will be going there in the fall. They leave Saturday, actually, for a summer program. Both of them had the opportunity to earn scholarships elsewhere, but I pushed and pushed. I said, no, you need to go to Morehouse. Go to Morehouse. Academically, it's better. And Daniel got an academic scholarship, and Reynard will be walking on with, you know, his financial aid and everything. And then Marcus had a 1.7 cumulative GPA coming into last year. And all of you know there's not much you can do with that. And the reason why the administrators wanted me to come into the program so bad was because in DC, you know, academics is not really, I mean, you've read the news, DC public schools, you know, we're not necessarily number 1 in the country. And for football, you know, it's not a priority at all. And Marcus was wayward, and he wanted to play though. And I had to, 2 hours every day after school running after the kids for study hall, making sure you call their parents, checking their progress reports, running after them in class, emailing the teachers, you know, yelling at them, going to pull them out of wherever. And he finally got it together, and he now is up to a 2.0 cumulative, and he'll be going to a small school called Bluefield College in Virginia, but he will be playing football. And he will be able to do it. And he's, you know, one time we had something else at the school about me coaching, and he turned to me, he said, Coach, I couldn't have done this without you. I really couldn't have, and I really love you. And now I get all kind of sappy text messages at 9 o'clock at night. Coach, I love you, you did so much for me. You know, their seniors are scared. They don't want to, Daniel and Reynard are scared to go down to Atlanta on Saturday. I'm going to be all by myself. What am I going to do? I'm like, you're going to just go to school and do your work. What do you want me to say? But I guess the reason why I'm telling you this is that I had to throw myself into it. I mean, put your blinders on, just go, grin and bear it, put your head down, and put one foot in front of the other until you reach that wall or until you reach the end. Because that's the only, if you stop and think about it too long, you're not going to do it. You won't do it. Don't think, just do. That's what I did. No. You have to think. But, and then the second story is one of my juniors now, who's my top recruit. He's gotten a scholarship offer from East Carolina University and James Madison University. And he's on his way for more. We're going up to, anybody from Temple here? Anybody? No? I'm going to Temple University this weekend, take them up to meet the coaches. But there was a coach on the phone. I can't remember who. I was like, Dayon, you know, come here. You got to talk to the coach. They always call and want to talk to the kids, like in the middle of the day. So I was like, come here. You got to, you know, there's a coach on the phone. He was like, who is it? I was like, it's so-and-so. I think it was Michigan State. He was like, is it a man or a woman? I was like, it's a man. Like, what do you... And, I mean, he was really serious. And then I was like, what are you talking about? It's a man. It's a football coach. He was like, well, you're a woman? I'm like, but you know, I mean, this is college. This is not going to be a woman. He was like, oh, well, I mean, I had to ask. I was like, well, that's cute. But then, you know, But he was serious. And my point is that eventually, if you do your job, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter who you are, and they're going to forget. Because he forgot. He seriously forgot and had to ask whether he should say sir or ma'am, or Mr. or Mrs. And I went home and I thought about it. I was like, wow. Like, really, wow. It doesn't matter. So if I've said anything to you, and like I said, I am just like you. I am only 31 years old. I'm not that far outside of where you are now. And I look up to all these women here for advice. But if there's anything I can give to you, is you always show up. Always show up every day when you don't feel like it, because I know I don't feel like it most days. And put your head down and ignore the noise and just do it. Don't think about it, just jump in and do it, and you'll be fine. And it won't even matter who you are, what you believe. If you do your job, people have to recognize that. Thank you very, very much for having me.